What's happening, NXPT? Dietitian Andrea here. This video is all about macros, which is just short for macronutrients. Those are protein, carbohydrate, and fat. And so I'm going to explain how to figure out what macros you should be eating every day based on the amount of calories that you should be eating every day. So if you haven't already, make sure you watch the week 1 video where I explain how to figure that out. You can also go onto the website. So log in to the challenge section of the website, and at the top under nutrition tab, you will see all of our nutrition resources. So scroll down, there's the calorie calculator. When you click on that, it takes you to the worksheet that takes you through step by step how to figure out how many calories you should be consuming every day. Now, if you remember, this is going to be based on your basal or resting metabolic rate, which ideally we get from the 3D Fit Scan. So I'm going to be using myself as an example here. So here's mine. My BMR is 1419, and then we multiply that by the activity factor. Mine was 1.5, and that gives me 2,200 calories that I should be consuming every day. So once you figure out the number of calories that you should be consuming on a daily basis, you want to download a food tracking app such as MyFitnessPal or Lose It. You can even do this on pen and paper, whatever your preference is. Doesn't matter. These are just all a good tool that brings self-awareness, and it's a good self-assessment tool to figure out what you are eating on a daily basis. And so I'm going to show you from the website, but you can do all of this from the app on your phone. So from MyFitnessPal, what you are going to want to do is go under settings and diary settings. Again, this is all, you can get to all of this from your phone. Make sure that you have carbohydrates, fat, and protein selected under the nutrients tracked. The rest of the nutrients is up to you. I would also recommend looking at your fiber intake. And then you want to go to customize meal names, and you want to change these to reflect how you are eating throughout the day. And so the default is like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then snacks. But you want to change this. So for example, I work out in the morning, and so my pre-workout and my recovery nutrition is the first thing I'm consuming in the day. So I want that to be reflected in my food diary. So I put that first. You can have the meal names be whatever you want, lunch 1, lunch 2, lunch 3, or however you want to do it. Make sure that the calorie adjustments is not checked. You do not want MyFitnessPal to be calculating your calories. That's what we're doing to help you guys out. Then after you make sure you have the carbohydrates, fat, and protein macros and customized meal names, then click on goals. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to calculate your macros. So the first way to do it is to set everything at 0 and calculate your macros by using the 3-2-1 method. And so what that means is first you want to take your body weight in pounds and figure out how much you weigh in kilograms. So for example, I weigh 150 pounds, and so I'm going to divide that by 2.2 to figure out my weight in kilograms. So I weigh 68 kilograms, and then I'm going to take my weight in kilograms and multiply it by 3-2-1, and that is going to give me my macros for carbohydrate, protein, and fat. That's like the simplest way to do it. So I'm going to take 68, I'm going to multiply it by 3. That's the grams of carbohydrate I'm going to aim to eat every day. Then I'm going to take 68 and multiply it by 2. That's the grams of protein I'm going to be eating every day. And then 68 times 1, and that's the grams of fat that I'm going to be aiming to eat every day. So that's the 3-2-1 method, and then you're going to use MyFitnessPal to track your food and to try to get to those macro numbers. And the easiest way in MyFitnessPal is just to set everything to 0 and then just start tracking. The second way you can do it is to take the number that we have figured out either through watching the video or going through the calorie calculator worksheet, and then inputting that into this calorie goal. So mine was 2,200. Then from there, you're going to want to use the little click wheel and change the percentages of protein, carbohydrate, and fat And so I'm going to, based on the recommendations I'm going to give you right now. So protein should be anywhere from 15 to 30% of your total calories. This is just going to vary depending on your preferences and the way that you like to eat and what types of things you generally like to eat. But you want this to be anywhere from 15 to 30%. So I know myself, and I do well with 25% of my calories coming from protein. And so I put that in, and that gives me a gram amount. And so that's my macros. So protein, I'm going to aim to get 138 grams of protein every day. Next is carbohydrate. So this is going to vary depending on, again, your preferences, what you like eating, also your activity level. And so on the low end, you could aim for 30% of your total calories coming from carbs. If you are like my endurance athletes, that could be upwards of 70%. Again, I know myself, and I do well with about 50% of my calories coming from carbs. So this gives me 275 grams of carbohydrate that I aim to consume every single day. Make sure that this number is not lower than 120, because that's the amount that our brain needs to function every day. Protein and fat do not cross our blood-brain barrier and cannot fuel our brain, only carbohydrates can. So make sure that you are consuming at least 120 grams of carbs per day. Then fat is going to make up the remainder. This should be anywhere from 10 to 30%. Mine is going to be 25. And this has to equal 100, or else MyFitnessPal won't let you save it. So then you're going to save that, and then you'll see your goals there with the gram amounts there. Then you're going to want to start tracking your food. And so make sure that your meals are balanced throughout the day so that you are always having carbohydrate, protein, and color. So here's an example of that performance plate, where if you draw an imaginary line down the center of your plate, half of your plate is color or produce, non-starchy vegetables. A quarter of your plate is carbohydrate, quarter of your plate is protein. If you don't want to calculate your macros or your calories at all, you could just use this plate method and you'll do pretty well. For meals, you should have protein, carbohydrate, and color. For snacks, you should have protein and either carbohydrate or color. Remember that fat should be an accompaniment and add flavor to your meal. It shouldn't be like the main part of your meal. So this is for like weight loss or weight management. If you have a higher activity level or you're eating more, you need more carbohydrates to fuel that activity. That portion of your plate is getting bigger, which compromises, unfortunately, the color section. Your protein needs don't really change. That should always be about a quarter of your plate. And then if your activity levels are really high, you need a lot of nutrition, the carbohydrate portion is going to be the largest. Again, that's compromising color. Protein is always going to be at least a quarter of your plate. So you can either use the plate method or a combination of tracking your food and tracking your macros by the grams using MyFitnessPal or a tracking app, and along with this kind of plate method. And so when you are tracking your food, make sure that you're using the barcode scanner. It's super easy to use on your phone. All you have to do is pull up your food item and pull up the barcode scanner to add food, and then just scan the item. And then you always want to double check, because MyFitnessPal allows users to input entries. So you just want to double check the first time you enter something that it is in the app the same way that it's on the label. And then you can adjust the serving size. And what I recommend, even though we say over and over again that this is like tracking your food, this actually should be used as a planning tool. And so the goal should actually be to input what you are going to be eating and drinking ahead of time. So add it as like part of your nightly routine to kind of pre-plan your meals for the next day, or maybe on the weekend you can do a couple days in advance. And so that way you can log your meals and you can see where you need to maybe add protein or decrease carbs or add a little bit of fat. And so try to use this as, even though it's called like tracking, which we kind of think of like after the fact, try to use it as like a tool to more like pre-plan your meals. And the last thing that I will share is on MyFitnessPal, when you're on your food diary, if you turn your phone sideways to landscape mode, make sure that it's not on the screen orientation lock, you can actually see the macro breakdown of each item that you have logged in there. And so you can use that to help you kind of gauge like portion sizes, if you need more fat or less fat or more protein. You can see kind of per meal how that breaks down. Now, I said this in the week 1 video, but just a reminder that you want to sandwich your workouts with nutrition. And so especially if you're looking to lose fat, you don't want to compromise your energy levels during a workout. So you want to make sure that you have nutrition before your workout and nutrition after your workout. And then the further you are away from your workout in your day, the smaller your meals can be, the less carbohydrates you can be eating. But make sure surrounding your workout that you're getting in your nutrition. If you have any other questions, or you have questions about this video or other nutrition questions, please don't hesitate to come find me before or after a class, or you can send me an email or a message on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you.